Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Monday lunchtime tactics preview from Manchester City versus Manchester United. A fantastic win for Manchester United. I haven't got the glasses on just because it's tactics. My eyes are very tired. But we didn't need to know that. But in relation to Manchester United, a lot of positivity around from the weekend. Big result and we should celebrate it. Yes, look, let's not jump too far ahead. West Brom next week. News that Fellaini didn't play, not because he was not part of the squad, but because he had an injury. Maybe, who's to say Mourinho wouldn't have played Fellaini instead of Herrera? So it's progression, it's a step forward, but let's look at that and let's also enjoy it. But let's also, as I know some people are still doubting Mourinho, let's see how this develops. And I think the next big one is obviously the Spurs game and how we approach that. So what we're going to be talking about, well, we're going to be dispelling a few myths as well. I mean, I've seen some things yesterday and today about Manchester United's tactics that I think you can overanalyze. You can become too stat obsessed. The reality is Manchester United played 4-3-3 at the weekend. I don't know where this, it's the development of a 4-2-2-2. It's a 4-3-3 and we'll be proving that. And I think, we do need to keep it quite simplistic because that's what it was. But I want to stay on a positive. And Herrera, for me, is a massive part of why we won that game at the weekend. I don't understand what's gone on this season. I know Herrera himself says, well, I've had a few injuries, but the reality is he was Player of the Year last year. We signed Matic, and we thought what we saw at the weekend would be how we started the season. And I think if we'd started the season with them as a midfield three, we would have been in a much better situation. We saw on Saturday how well it worked when you've got Matic sitting, Pogba the licence to be box-to-box but more attacking, and Herrera just your archetypal box-to-box tenacious midfielder that you need. You swap Herrera out for McTominay, young, inexperienced, could be a great player in the future but tall and slow. You swap him out for Fellaini, can't pass, slow. Carrick, too old now. I mean, Herrera, you've got to have three different players, and I think McTominay's miles ahead of Fellaini anyway, but McTominay at the moment, he's too similar to Matic. I think McTominay's a long-term replacement for Matic. We need a different midfielder, and we need to sign at least two others so that they can compete with Herrera as well. You've got to have three different midfielders in a midfield three. I thought Herrera was great. As I said last night, Manchester Evening News gave him a 4 out of 10. I mean, that's just ridiculously bad punditry or marking of scores. I mean, I saw Squawker today. They gave him 8, and that's more realistic. I think I might have given him a 7. He was very good, but it was such a bad performance in the first half. I think giving people 8s was a bit unfair because the first half was atrocious from everybody. But Herrera was fantastic, and we'll be touching more on that in a moment. But yeah, Fellaini linked to Liverpool, Mohammed. Did a video on that, funnily enough. But look, I like to bring a few tweets in, and this one might just liken the note. It's from me. Never thought I'd lust after a man's chest so much. Herrera's chest for that, for setting up the first goal for Pogba was just magnificent. And I love assists. Obviously, I love creativity. We all do. We've been starved of it this season. We really have, and I've watched it so many times. The ball in from Sanchez, but the chest down. I tell you what, as I said last night, if Messi does that, they're showing it back on a GIF for the next 20 years. Pamela Anderson spent her whole career building, years and years building her career off her chest. Herrera did it in a couple of seconds at the weekend. It was world class, that was, and that's not what his job is there to do. His job isn't there to do that. But that assist from Herrera was absolutely fantastic. So a bit of shade there from me. And I liked this tweet from Corey Andrews, actually. He said, maybe Pogba should go, showing no heart out there or passion. We didn't pay £90 million for dancing. Now, I bring that in because obviously that was said in the first half against Manchester City. And I've seen a lot of this over social media where people have been retweeting and undermining Manchester United fans' tweets from the first half. But Jared was on the watch-along on Saturday and he said Pogba can go based on that first half performance. And I don't have a problem with that. And I think I choose to use these tweets and those comments not to ridicule people because at that time they were right. It was a disgrace, that first half. But I use it as a pointer to how good that second half then became because they were so bad in the first half. And I think that encapsulates Pogba. He really is like poor in that first half. There is no passion, there is no composure. And then in the second half, it's there. That's what we want to see from Pogba, and hopefully we'll see that more and more. And this one, although it's quite long-winded from Kyle, I liked it. I don't like Mourinho, never have been his #1 fan, but even I think he deserves more credit for the Derby Day win. The media seem to be deflecting the praise onto the players so they get all the credit, but every time we lose or draw, they make out it's solely his fault. Again, spot on. You can't be negative about Mourinho, about Sevilla and all these other games where we've parked the bus or not played very well. And then when we beat Man City in the second half with a really good performance, oh, it was down to the players. It's nothing to do with Mourinho. I think he deserves some praise. I also think that a lot of what I saw on things like Match of the Day over the weekend and your typical Sunday supplement rubbish, that it's an agenda against Manchester United, but it's an even bigger agenda against Mourinho. And they spend so much time, oh, it's a penalty, it's this, that and the other. You get one goal for a penalty if you score it. It's not basketball. They wouldn't have won it if they'd got the penalty. And the reality is, I've seen pictures of that, and actually the first contact that Young makes, he takes the ball. The follow through is a bit reckless, but I don't want to talk about that. And it's also the same with, you've got to. Ashley Young and Carrick are apparently the big influence in the dressing room at half time. So Mourinho didn't do anything, did he? He popped down Costa and got himself a coffee. He didn't even bother going in the dressing room. You've got to give some love to it. All I would say is, as a Mourinho fan, I know a lot of people still have their doubts. I'm not going to hear preach and say to you, I was right, he's changed. I was, but I'm not going to preach because it's a step forward. It could become 2 steps back very, very quickly, or it could turn into a massive stride into our future, which I'm hoping it will be. We've just got to put a little bit of perspective on it. Matthew McFadden says, Fellaini used to be in team purely for chest control. Funny thing is, Herrera's chest assist has basically rendered Marouane useless. Love it. That's the best bit of chest control I've seen in a United shirt, and that was Fellaini's big thing. But let's move on. I want to get onto this anyway, because this is the tactics preview. So this is that team there, especially the front four. Their position on there is based on their most common position on a heat map from that game. So their average position where they were the hottest. So Lukaku, you would normally expect him to be here, but actually on a heat map, he was here. He was all around here. He was here, he was here. But that was the position where he was the hottest. So that's where he spent the most time. Same with Herrera, Matic, Pogba, Sanchez, Lingard. Now, I must just say in relation to Jesse Lingard's heat map, it was very hard to even find a pulse. It was almost going blue. I mean, Lingard did not have a good game against Man City. He hardly did anything. Hardly made any interceptions. Hardly had anything of the ball. He really just was the invisible man. And his heat map was a bit like that. And I'm not saying that because Lingard's rubbish or anything like that. I think we spoke about that last night. I think for me, he's a bench player, impact player. Doesn't really do it in the big games. But I actually agreed with the team that we picked at the weekend. But more importantly, I don't want to dwell on negatives. I want to dwell on positives. It was a 4-3-3. Where this 4-2-2 comes from, because a 4-2-2 would be this. That's 4-2-2. And this is what I think people are trying to say we did. We did a 4-2-2. We simply didn't do a 4-2-2-2-2 or however many twos you want to do. It's mythical. What people are trying to put out there with their, oh, I know football, I analyse it and all this. It's nonsense. It was a 4-3-3. It really was a 4-3-3. It's proven by heat maps. It's proven by stats. But you know what it's proven by? It's proven by all of you and me who watched the game on Saturday and quite distinctly saw it was a 4-3-3. It's that midfield threat. And I think this is the way United need to go. I don't know about you lot, but I think this is the way that Manchester United need to go now. It was... Dan Talzer says Lukaku was further to the right to dodge company. Well, on the heat map, that was his position, Lukaku, most than anything. And I don't know why that was. Maybe we felt more at a threat down the right-hand side. I mean, just to give you an example, Herrera, this was his heat. That's where Herrera was. That's where he mostly was on the heat map, all along there. Interestingly enough, Pogba did spend a lot of time in this area, but his biggest heat point was here for some reason, Pogba. I don't know, he must have just got a few tackles there. So everything for United did seem to be quite right-sided. But Sanchez, 100%, his heat map was all around this area, which is funny because we know he got an assist from there for the first goal, but predominantly he's in this area here. It was a 4-3-3. 4-3-3 was the defensive shape, says Nihil. It was no. Look, mate. I watched the game. You watched the game. This 4-2-2-2-2, stupid. It's a stupid formation. Nobody plays it, and we didn't play it. We played 4-3-3. And when we're looking, whether you're a Mourinho doubter or you're a Mourinho inner or whatever like that, that is the way that Manchester United need to play. It doesn't need to adapt. Now, some people say, well, can you do that at home? Well, yes, you can do it at home because Herrera wants to get forward, as we saw with the chest. Pogba wants to get into this anyway. So all you do at home is you just tell Matic to patrol and them to become attackers. They're attackers already, and obviously Lukaku. We don't need to keep adapting it. What I want to see from Manchester United is what we saw at the weekend. I want to see that midfield three that has got the perfect balance. Matic just sit and hold it. Had a really good game, apart from getting spun by Gundogan on the second goal. Pogba with more licence to get forward, and Herrera just back and forth, back and forth. I'll do the defensive work, tenacious, and I'll also get you assists, and I'll go forward as well. That's the position that needs solving. Lingard needs to step up, or we get somebody in the summer, or we give it to Rashford. Sanchez has obviously got that nailed down, and Lukaku's our number 9. And I like it. I like the 4-3-3. I know that we always, and for years, we've been going, oh, we need a number 10, let's get Griezmann, oh, can Rooney do the job? I don't think we do need a number 10. I don't think we need a number 10. I think have a strong midfield 3, and let those 3 really have the licence to attack. Obviously, the back 4 needs a little bit of work, but I really like it. I really did like it, and I don't know why we need to reinvent the wheel and start saying we did something that we didn't do. We played 4-3-3. Herrera was amazing in it. Pogba was sensational second half. Matic just did that whole Carrick thing that we've seen for years, where he just patrolled back and forth along there and broke up the play really well. Again, Lukaku, very, very quiet game, but he just worked. And in a game like this, that can happen. We needed more from Lingard in that game, but we still won it. And Sanchez, I mean, Sanchez is a topic in himself, isn't he? Sanchez was absolutely sensational in that second half. And I'm a big fan of Martial. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Mourinho has made his decision. I don't think Martial should be leaving United, and hopefully he still won't. But we do need a left back as well, Keith Horner, and that was where I was going to move next. But I do just want to say, in relation to Alexis Sanchez, the interesting thing was, I still think, and we've spoken about this so much, this square here is a big, big problem. And I still think it will be a problem because with Martial and Rashford, they run there, and then Pogba comes into this area and he loves it. We signed Sanchez, and Sanchez wants to be in there as well, and they get in each other's way. That wasn't so much of a problem against City in the first half because we were rubbish and we didn't attack. And in the second half, it worked quite well because Pogba bombed on beyond Sanchez into their back of the net goal. But they still are getting in each other's way, and it's still something that needs a little bit of work because you can't just tell Pogba to stay back and leave it to Sanchez, but they can't be getting in each other's way. It works really well with that second goal, but it is something that we still need to be a little bit careful of. But Sanchez was really good at the weekend. The back 4 is a problem. I mean, I think maybe Herrera and Lukaku spent so much time down the right because Lingard disappeared. And Valencia, I think Valencia's had not a bad 6 weeks, but he's sort of, I don't know whether he's tired or something like that. He's not been his usual consistent best. I mean, Valencia's normally a 7 or 8 every week, but for the last 6 weeks, I'd say he's just been 6, pushing a 7. Not bad, but not as good as he can be. Ashley Young just can't defend. We need to solve that. And I still think that Bailly and Smalling probably isn't the centre-back pairing that we need. So the back 4 needs a little bit of work, but Mourinho knows how to sort defences out. 100% he knows how to sort defences out, and we've got a world-class goalkeeper who came to the party. But the real positive for me, because all season this has been a problem, that midfield not providing the attackers, being pushed through and cut open too easily, to actually see this developing to something now. And I still will say that I think our best formation of the season has been when we played the 3-5-2. 2 up front, your wing-backs, your full-backs become wingers, and you pack that midfield, and you could still do that 3-5-2. But Mourinho doesn't seem to want to do it. And I think what we need, and I will applaud Liverpool, I'll applaud Spurs, and begrudgingly I'll applaud City, is they have a style of play that they play every week, and they know what they're doing. And United have been too reactive, too conservative in the words of Paul Scholes, and we change our team every week to the opposition, and there is no fluidity, there's no consistency. And I think it was Rodney who said it last night. Man City, Sane, Aguero, Silva, De Bruyne, they play with each other every week. They know everything about each other. United can never build up any momentum or composure because everything changes. You know, Pogba might get dropped. Sanchez has only just come into the club. Lingard might be at number 10, he might be on the wing, he might be on the bench. He might play McTominay, Herrera comes in. There's no fluidity and there's no consistency. And I think if we just play this team for as much as we can between now and the end of the season, and even if it is Lingard on the right, you know, play that front six between now and the end of the season as much as possible and watch how we improve as they start to get knowing each other even more. Because Herrera's had a lot of stick this season, but actually, the way he chests that off and the way Sanchez finds him and he chests it off to Pogba, that's one of the best goals we've scored this season, creativity-wise, because it had so many different people involved in it. And again, with the second goal, the understanding between Sanchez and Pogba was a joy to see. And I just want to see us doing that. Rest Valencia for 3 games and he will be back, says Jason McDonough. Well, we haven't really got the players to do that, have we? That is the problem at the moment. We haven't got a right back to step in. I mean, God forbid we bring Darmian in. And Ian Turlington, we seem to set up to counter the opposition rather than play our own way. Look, this is a tactics debrief, and the reality is, you might not want to hear this, but we played the same way in the second half as we did in the first half. Tactically, and I'll go back to that, because what we did is, if you watch the first half, these 5 players here pressed City in these areas, but City got the ball through there quite easily, because when we got the ball we gave it away, and if you give the ball away, pressing was fine. That's what we did. They really did press high up the pitch. The back line was up to here. We did press in the first half, but it all broke down because I can't remember an occasion in 45 minutes in the first half where we actually strung a couple of passes together. We were passing from the back badly. Pogba was dwelling on the ball too long. Matic was, Herrera was. These 3 were isolated. First half, the tactics were the same as the second half, and in the second half, obviously more motivation, more aggression. We still pressed, and when we got the ball, we actually moved the ball around and we created chances. There was no contrast in style between the first and the second half, and I probably believe that Jose Mourinho did say at half-time, do you want to be the idiots at the end of the game watching them celebrate the title? And played on their, played on their professionalism and their pride, because there was no drastic tactics change in the second half. It was the same tactics as the first half, and at no point did we park the bus. At no point did we park the bus. There was no parking the bus in that game until Lindelof came on for Herrera with about 3 minutes. But from start to finish, in relation to the goals of the game and the momentum of the game, United didn't get everybody behind the ball. We didn't do that. We did look to attack the ball and press the ball, and a very, very different. And then if you contrast to what United did away to City to what we did away to Sevilla, and you imagine what Man City would do to Sevilla, it's ridiculous. And that we can't keep living on the past of that. And I'm one of those people who think, look, we are progressing, we are making changes, but he made a massive mistake against Sevilla. Conservative, defensive, giving up possession, and then away to Man City, arguably the best team in Europe elect this season, we went and had a go. And we did something that nobody's done to them. And we did it from 2-0 down. We beat them, and they threw everything at us, and we beat everything. They had nothing off the pitch at the end that wasn't their best. And to be honest, it was still a very strong City team anyway. I mean, I know Aguero and Jesus didn't start and De Bruyne didn't start. Everybody else did. And as we know, Man City have spent millions and millions and millions. They've got a very, very good squad. So I agree with a lot of people saying we deserve a little bit more. Anthony Martial says, is Martial getting the Mkhitaryan treatment? As I said last night, in relation to Martial, I don't really have a lot to say about it. I think the proof's going to be in the pudding. I don't think Martial can be getting any treatment, because what more can he do? In fairness to him, what more can he do? He was 3 times Player of the Month. He'd scored loads of goals. He'd got loads of assists. He'd won us the game the week before, and we still went and signed Sanchez and replaced him. I think it's just because Mourinho wants Sanchez and he doesn't want Martial. Fans want Martial. Some want Sanchez. The manager is Jose Mourinho. I would refute and argue any nonsense that Martial needs to work hard. Martial needs to prove himself. Martial's getting the Mkhitaryan treatment to make him come back stronger. He was already strong. He was already doing it. It went wrong when Sanchez was signed. Martial's not done anything wrong other than Mourinho just doesn't fancy him as his left winger. He's actually had a very, very good season up until the Sanchez signing. So I think people need to just accept that Mourinho has chosen Sanchez and signed Sanchez to be his left winger, and he doesn't want Martial to be his left winger. And I think sometimes in life people make choices, and you don't need to make an excuse for it. You don't need to say, well, Martial's a lazy sod and all this, that and the other, because it's not true. He's been very, very good this season. I can't see, Martial can't prove himself anymore. Unless he wants to become a right winger, I don't think he can prove himself anymore. So I'd like to see him involved between now and the end of the season. I don't want him to go. I really don't. But it is what it is with that, isn't it? It is what it is. Sanchez should be rested for the next 2 games so Martial can play more, says Anton Muller. Martial needs to be played. Dropped Lingard. Play Sanchez right wing, says Matteo 7. Well, I still think that down the line that this performance was brilliant, but it's a step forward. And it's a step forward that I believe in. I did say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a lot of people saying, you're deluded, he's never going to change. Well, he's already changed. He's got to keep changing. But I still see the Pogba-Sanchez problem. I still see it, that they're going to get in each other's way a little bit on that left-hand side. But Herrera needs somebody on that right-hand side that has ability and has consistency. And we gave that up with the Lingard selection, but we might have to wait till the summer. And like I said last night, I don't think it will happen, but imagine if we did sign Gareth Bale. Put Gareth Bale on that right-hand side, Sanchez on the left, Lukaku up front, a strong midfield 3. You've suddenly got a really, really good team. And I think the we don't want Bale thing is a little bit unfair when you consider he plays on the right. I think more the Bale thing is about, we don't want Bale because we don't want to give De Gea or Martial to Real Madrid. And we don't want Bale unless we're paying over 50 million because he's very, very injury prone. I think that's what that comes down to. Fancy shirt, Mark. A little bit of Gantz. And I've got my glasses on because I'm tired. Martial will be world class, says Pankaj. I agree. I just believe in banter. Nothing against United fans at all, says Bradley Coleman. We all like a little bit of banter. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video. I really enjoyed the tactics debrief, and I hope you do as well. If you like the tweets, if you like the little tactics stuff and all that jazz, then please do drop a like on the video. I also want to just say something very, very exciting. I can't give you too much away about this, but there's a link in the video description to the Mark Goldbridge channel. There's not loads of content on it, but there is something very, very big happening, and I can't even going to tell you when, but I'm very, very excited about it. So the link in the video description is for my Mark Goldbridge channel. If you click it, it'll give you an option to subscribe. Just get yourself subscribed if you like the content that I do, because I've got some really good stuff coming up. I'm very excited about it. I can't say any more, but make sure you've subscribed if you like, and get ready for it. It's going to be good. We're back tonight at 8 o'clock on this channel. It's the Skype show, so anything you want to talk about, really, really look forward to this show every week. Skype Goldbridge tonight, 8 o'clock tonight UK time, all one word. Really looking forward to that. We'll see what else we can discuss. One United's best fan channel. Thanks, pal. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone who can join us on a lunchtime. I know it's not easy for everybody. If you're not watching live, then give us your comments below. But yeah, I enjoy doing the tactics stuff, and I think it's just really important that, look, we played 4-3-3 at the weekend. Let's not try and reinvent the wheel and start saying we did something that we didn't. The heat maps will show you the positions of every player, but actually I think you can get bogged down in stats. You can make a stat make yourself look really good but lose a game 5-0. The reality is, with our own eyes, we know we played 4-3-3 and we know it worked really well for one reason. We actually had 3 midfielders who are all very different, that when you fuse them together they make a really good midfield. Matic patrolling, Herrera archetypal, box to box, tenacious but has got creativity in, and Pogba the more creative midfielder who will track back but has the freedom to get forward. It's the best option for Manchester United. We thought we were going to see it last summer when we signed Matic. We were all like, Herrera, Mata, Pogba, that's going to be a great midfield 3. And he never used it. He started the season with Herrera fit, and it was 6 weeks before Herrera got on the pitch. He started the season with Fellaini, Matic and Pogba for the whole of August. Now, that's on the manager, but we're not going to look back. We're going to look forward. And finally, we're now seeing this thing. And that is where it went right on Saturday, and that is why we as a team suddenly had, and how many times this season have we said this, the midfield's too slow. It doesn't get the ball from back to front quick enough. It's static, it's boring, it gets cut through. And that's because we've been playing slow, tall midfielders in there. The minute we go to something a little bit different, and that midfield 3 can fight against anybody. That midfield 3, but we need to improve it. We need to bring 2 in. I'd bring Fabinho and Milinkovic-Savic into that, and then you've got 5 great options. And let's just go 4-3-3. I think go 4-3-3. You're always going to have your wide players, Sanchez and Lingard at the weekend, and then you've got Lukaku up front. Forget the number 10 position. We don't need it. 4-3-3 is the way for me. Get commenting below. I want to know what you think about that. Do you think the formation at the weekend is the way to go? And a lot of people have said you can't play that at home, but I think you can. You can play it at home because it almost becomes a 4-1-5. Matic, Stitz and patrols, Pogba and Herrera have got the freedom to bomb forward. You've got the width and you've got Lukaku. I think play it every week. I really do. Give us your thoughts. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Link in the video description. Exciting things to come.